Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another Access 72 video, and in today's video I'm back with another interview, and I'm here with Gregor Mcpherson. Gregor, how are we?
I'm very well, thanks. Thanks for having me on.
It is a pleasure, thank you very much for coming on, mate.
No worries.
And so am I right in saying you're a 1-0 lightweight?
Yeah, correct.
Great, okay, well if you are new around here and you haven't yet subscribed, please do so, like the video if you do indeed like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, the question which I always like to start off with, why did you start boxing?
So, I used to play football to start off with. I was a pro youth player at Aberdeen Football Club. Then, after a couple of years of playing for Aberdeen, I just thought something different. I need something different. So, my dad used to do boxing. So I took boxing up just as a hobby, done a bit of sparring, and I really enjoyed it. So, I chose to convert to boxing.
That's great. And so, what happened in your first amateur fight, if you can remember?
So my first amateur fight was in a place called Banff in Scotland. So an hour from my hometown. Went up there. I fought at 40 kilos for my first fight at 14, and it was a first round stoppage. So it was really good to kick things off with a win like that.
Definitely. And so throughout your whole amateur time, what was your biggest achievement?
I had a few. I won the national title 3 times in a row, but the Odivelas Box Cup in Portugal, that was up there. Wow. That was a good achievement.
Definitely. How did you kind of get into going to Portugal for an amateur thing like that?
So, because I won a few national titles, we went to Portugal for the Box Cup. Only 4 of us from the club.
Right.
So I had the Irish national champion in the semi-final and the all-Irish champion in the final.
Wow.
So it was 2 tough opponents. The first fight, it was a unanimous decision, and the second fight, it was a 4-1 split decision. So it was really good to get in with the likes of them boys. The guy that was in the final with me, he went to the Commonwealth Games for Northern Ireland. So it's good.
Definitely. And so, throughout, how many amateur fights did you end up racking up?
I got 16 by the end of it, because I was fast-tracked. So my first fight was obviously just a home show fight, and then after that it was novices, and then after the novices I just went straight to the Open National Elite Championships.
That's fair. And so were you kind of wanting to be fast-tracked, or were you wish you maybe had a few more fights in the amateurs?
It wasn't really the plan, but after my first fight, that guy already had 11 fights. That was my first one. So we just thought there's no point in wasting time if I can be in with the likes of guys that have had more experience. So I'm glad that they done that, because that's where I am today because of that. So I wouldn't have changed it.
Fair enough. And so you've only just turned professional. You just had your fight on the weekend. Congratulations on that win. And so why did you turn professional when you did? Because
of the things I've won. I thought it was a good time. I was struggling to get fights at the end of my amateur career. Like my last home show, we asked a lot of boys in Scotland, some in England, some in Ireland. We weren't getting a lot of feedback, so I thought it was time to move over to the pro game. Plus, I've been sparring with like Kiko Martinez. I went down to London with Youssef Kamari. So a lot of good guys I've been sparring with. So I thought it was just the right decision to make.
Definitely. And in that first professional fight you had, you stepped in with a tough opponent in Logan Palling. We've had Logan on the channel, and how tough was that fight for you?
Yeah, well, for my first fight, a lot of guys there's someone that's going to put the hands up, walk back. But Logan came to fight. Logan's a really strong guy, always coming forward, lots of punches. So it was a risk to take for my first fight, but I wouldn't have changed it. It was a good opponent to have for my first fight.
Definitely. And so have you never really, from your amateur time it kind of showed, you've never really been a type of person to back down from fighting somebody even if they look difficult to fight?
Yeah, well, if you're in the game you need to fight anyone. I mean, there's no point in ducking anyone, so I'll take anyone that comes. But that was my first senior fight as well. I never fought without a head guard, and obviously much smaller gloves as well, so it was a big difference.
Fair enough. And so do you think you kind of stepped up to that? Obviously you got the win, but do you think you stepped up to that change well?
Yeah, I thought I did. I feel like I controlled the fight. My movement kept me in and out of distance, so that worked well. Logan's a strong guy, so he caught me a few shots, but I bounced back from that. So it was good.
Definitely. And so I'm sure, as you are just kind of at the start of your career at the moment, you're going to want to be quite active. So is there a possible date when you're going to be wanting to fight again?
Well, my next fight's on the 20th of January in Glasgow.
Right. Okay. And so, are you glad that it is in your kind of home town or home area?
Yeah, it's not too far from home, so I'll be able to get a good crowd again down to Glasgow. The atmosphere at the weekend was unreal. I think there was 900 people, and all shouting my name. It was really good buzz for my first fight.
Definitely, that's great. And for anybody who's watching this and might not have seen you fight before, what would you say kind of makes you interesting as a fighter?
I'd say my movement. It's really hard to make contact with me. I'm always moving around the ring, got a good jab. I'm actually left-handed by fight orthodox, so I can switch hit. So 1 minute I'll be orthodox, next minute southpaw. So it's an interesting style.
Definitely. And so you are just right at the beginning of your career, and so how far do you believe you can go?
I feel like I can go the whole way. With the right guidance from my promoter and manager, Sam, I feel like I can do great things in the sport. The thing is, I'm only 18, so I've got plenty of time.
Definitely. You turned pro at a good age, and so are you possibly, I mean, you said that you were fast-tracked in the amateurs, are you possibly wanting to kind of move quite quickly in the pros, or you wanted to take your time with it?
I'll probably take my time in the pros. Pros is different. Amateur, it's just all about getting the fights, getting the fights in. But professional, you want to keep that O. But at the same time, you don't want to fight nobodies. You want to have a challenge. So I want to be active. I spoke to Sam. First year, I'm going to be really active. Get a few fights under my belt, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Definitely. Okay, and so I'll leave it with this final question, which I always like to ask. You've got a little bit of a platform here. Would you like to shout anything out?
I've got my TikTok, Gregor_Mcpherson, and my Instagram, Gregor.Mcpherson. Give me a follow on there.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for doing this, mate.
No worries. Thank you.
And maybe a bit further along down the line, we can come back and do a return interview.
Yeah, definitely.
Great. Okay. Well, if you are new around here and you haven't subscribed, please do so. Like the video if you do need like video, and thanks for watching.